all of you have watched 3 Idiots, right? It
Yeah.
feels really bad when friend fails, but it really feels worse when he comes first. That's the human nature. So we cannot avoid that, right? If
Exactly.
someone just parallel to you with the same experience, same degree is going for a higher package, you will feel low. So, see, when I was looking for the job, right, for the resume, I interviewed 6 months back for a company. So I could name it, but let's
No
not.
worries.
So I interviewed for it, and after the interviews, right, I realized that I'm nowhere standing in the league. So
Got it.
suppose if I have to compete with someone who's passing from IIT who has done very well in a product-based organization, and now they are looking for a change. And then there's me who has come from a BSc background. I'm from a service-based company, and I have to go to resume.
Same. I
So
think when I started my career, Prashant, my brother had given the same advice. Where basically I'm from not so popular college, tier 2, tier 3 college, and I did not start my career with very big firms. So my brother said the same thing which you mentioned. There is no race going on. Like you are not competing with someone just of whatever who has started. They may be in Amazon or very big firms, but consider a journey of probably 8 to 10 years. If you really have a potential, you can go anywhere. Hello all, welcome back to Uncommon Geeks. Myself, Fasant. I hope you all doing well. In case if you're seeing me first time on the internet, I'm a content creator. I help people to clear their interview. I made a lot of beautiful series in the past, which has been appreciated by many. Link to those series will be somewhere on the screen, also in the description section. In case if you're someone who's seriously preparing for interview, please go ahead and check out those videos. And coming to this video, this one of a kind I can tell, because in this video I'll be interviewing a very interesting personality. His name is Prashant. He works at RazorPay, but he is very special because he's somebody who's writing about the front end interview preparation since almost 3 to 4 years, and in just one to 1.5 months he's gonna come up with a unique book that contains the question and answers, which contains lot of very interesting questions, and not just the questions, it also contains a lot of system design training on how to clear front end developer interview. I'm very excited to talk to Prashant. Let's get started. So Prashant, thank you so much for accepting my invite and coming live on Uncommon Geeks. Welcome to my channel.
thank you, Vasan.
Thank
I'm
you.
glad I'm here.
Yeah. So, Prashant, I've already given your introduction in my own words, but it'll be good if you introduce yourself so that audience can relate more. So, yourself, the place you are from, your skills, etc. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm currently based out in Mumbai. I'm working for RazorPay as a senior front-end engineer. I'm handling the token HQ. So I'm working in the token HQ pod and majorly dealing with the payments. So that's on the professional front. On the personal front, I write my blog.
Yeah.
So I run a blog named learnsbucket.com where I write about JavaScript interview process
Yeah.
and DSA and all those things.
Yes. Which place you are from, Prashant?
I'm currently based out in Mumbai. So I'm born and brought up in Mumbai. I live in.
Oh, you're from Mumbai and you're living in Mumbai, correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Nice, Prashant. Yeah, let's definitely we're going to talk more about the learner bucket thing. Yeah. So let me start with my first and this very simple question, Prashant. Okay. So there are a lot of like mid and junior level engineers who are very good at the web designing. This is I'm seeing myself when I was in 1 year and 2 year experience where I could build something. Let's say you want to ask me to build a form or a UI, etc. But I wasn't sure like what are the right materials to prepare for the interview, like where to go for the interview or how to prepare. So can you just guide us, Prashant, like what should be the starting point? Let's say you have 1.5 year of experience and looking for a change. What should be the front end developer interview preparation strategy? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So, see, the interview process for the front end has changed somehow in the last few years.
Yeah.
So, currently, the trend is like when you are going for a front end interview in a good product based companies,
Yeah.
not talking about the big fours, but
Yeah.
the good product based startups based out in India or anywhere else. So, they have recently started with this trend that they are not asking the typical DSA question for the front end interviewers.
Correct.
So the typical round for a front-end interview or a front-end developer looks like the first round goes for the core JavaScript, the second round goes as a machine coding.
Correct.
Then, based on your experience, the third round is like the system design or your past experience, or you will be asked to create a small component, a small application, your understanding of things, your
Correct.
knowledge of the browser, the ecosystem, all those, and the final is the VP round or the managerial cultural fit, whatever you call that.
Correct.
So
Correct.
that's how the current trend is in the market. And for those, the best preparation guide I can tell you is one: if you have if you are less experienced with the core JavaScript, right, the vanilla JavaScript itself,
Yeah.
you should get familiar with that.
Correct.
And second thing, you should be more aware about the ecosystem in which the JavaScript runs, that is your browser,
Exactly.
because JavaScript is a language and it is executed in the browser or through the V8 engine or any JavaScript engine.
Correct.
And then, the Node.js itself uses the V8 to create the runtime. And if you are using a desktop application or a native application, so their code also runs through V8 or any other
Correct.
JavaScript engine, and then it's converted to the support.
Correct.
So having good understanding of core JavaScript, browser fundamentals really helps. Apart from this, your core web architecture, your web knowledge, that also helps. So the protocols, how HTTP works,
Yeah.
how sockets works, all those things also help.
Got it. Sure, sure, Prashant. I also give one simple advice whenever candidate asks this question. I just say first go for the developer.mozilla.org and pick some random topic. Probably you yourself will find out so many different topics that will be suggested, like where you get to know
Yes.
where you are standing. Correct? Sure, Prashant. So second point is not on the pure only on the front end, but more on the
Mhm.
philosophical level as well. Are lot of candidates relate to this question. So it's been tremendous push in the market, whether I don't know whether it's really required or not to join Mang and a lot of premium companies. Somehow I've talked to a lot of company engineers. Somehow they feel very low being a part of service company. I personally worked for a service company and I did not feel back then because we were building more products probably than what product companies build. Okay, and because of this huge push, many feel very low when they are not able to clear these interviews. Like my friend
Mhm.
has cleared and I have not cleared and I'm unfit, etc. So what is your advice, Prashant? Because I know you write a lot on the LinkedIn about interview preparation and etc. What is your take on this particular topic?
See, it's a human nature, right? If you're competing, so all of you have watched 3 Idiots, right? It feels
Exactly.
really bad when friend fails, but it really feels worse when he comes first. That's the human nature. So we cannot avoid that, right? If
Exactly.
someone just parallel to you with the same experience, same degree is going for a higher package, you will feel low. And that's very common. You should not worry about that. That's a good feeling, and that's the feeling that pushes you to work harder and achieve the things, right, you dream about. So
Exactly.
it's a good thing, it's not a bad thing. Second thing, regarding the premium companies, the service based, the product based, see, every company is good in their aspect.
Exactly.
Okay, if you are struggling to get a job and if a service based company is giving you an opportunity to come to them, learn things, start working, then that's a good thing, right? So
Exactly.
if you are struggling, you can get started with a service based company, gain your knowledge, learn things, build things, and then move to a good product based companies. So
Exactly.
that's how the my journey is there. That's how many people have moved to the product based companies, right? And
Exactly.
then there are many who get opportunity in their first chance only to land a good job.
Yes.
So everyone has their own path. It's not something has to be worried about.
Exactly.
And you can always go higher. Okay, so give yourself some time. It's
Yeah.
not like it's not a race.
Exactly.
Everyone says that, right? If you ask an experienced developer, he will always say that it's a marathon. So
Exactly.
give yourself some time,
Yeah.
prepare very well. There is a lots of resources available currently. You
Yeah.
don't have to go for the paid one. There are
Exactly.
many free resources.
Yes.
Utilize it very well, and then you can definitely crack a product-based company with a good pay. Not
Exactly.
necessarily Man, but there are many
Exactly.
other product-based companies in India which pay very, very well.
Exactly, definitely. Yes, yes. Same. I think when I started my career, Prashant, my brother had given the same advice. Where basically I'm from not so popular college, tier 2, tier 3 college, and I did not start my career with very big firms. So my brother said the same thing which you mentioned. There is no race going on. Like you are not competing with someone just of you who has started. They may be in Amazon or very big firms, but consider a journey of probably 8 to 10 years. If you really have a potential, you can go anywhere, whether you're somebody's from IIT, somebody's from IIM, or you're from tier 3 college. If you make yourself to go, the sky is the limit. But if in case if you are not only willing, then nobody can help. You maybe land up wherever you are. Correct?
That's a really good advice. And also to add on that, right? See, I am from a BSc background. I
Yeah.
don't even have a technical degree, a complete
Exactly.
engineering degree.
Exactly.
So, and many of my colleagues whom I have worked till now in different, organizations, they themselves have their own path, their own journey
Correct.
to reach where they are currently.
Exactly.
So it's a good thing, yeah. And you should always cherish that. I mean, it's not right. I'm not groomed in a typical way that you have to follow Java, C++, and
Exactly.
you follow this part to get this job.
Exactly.
Because I did BSc, I was open to opportunities. I
Exactly.
myself figure out what will be the best for me, what will be suitable for me, and then I'm going with that.
Exactly. Definitely, Prashant. So now this is again, I have a lot of my viewers are freshers, like who are in their pre-final year and the final year, and many ask me very often that Vasant, I want to become the front-end developer, and I'm
Mhm.
just in my pre-final year, seventh and eighth. Some message me also in second and third year. Then I'll advise first finish your engineering or whatever the degree you're doing. But whenever people approach me on the final year, like I want to become front-end developer, and how to get started with that. Okay, I answered in a different way. I just want to hear your thoughts. So whoever in pre-final year and the final year, so what are your thoughts? What is the right way for them to become front-end developer?
See, if you are genuinely willing to come to tech, right? If you want to become a software engineer, not just to crack an interview and get high-paying job, right? It's
Yes,
not the process. It's
exactly.
not the final destination. You should be willing to become a software engineer, and
Correct.
that journey is completely different from what all the YouTubers or all the different companies are showcasing today.
Exactly.
So if you're in the final year, if you aspire to become a web developer, right? So it's very simple. Get started with the free code camp. They have a very sweet and straightforward
Exactly.
roadmap design.
Yeah.
You will learn things step by step.
Exactly.
After that, you will get idea about what is the web development. So once you
Ex-
finish the curriculum of the free code camp, you will get an idea what is web development. After that, you can search for those things, particular things like you can search for how to get good at HTML, how to get good
Correct.
at CSS, core JavaScript, and then learn any framework. But
Yes.
core JavaScript is the most important part. Once you are strong with the base, you can learn any framework in no time.
Got
So
it.
that's how your focus should be. Apart from that, the web is very vast. I
Yeah.
mean, people say that, right? Writing HTML, CSS, or simple JavaScript logic, it's
Yeah.
not like that.
Exactly.
For example, I'll just give you an example. See, when someone create a product in India, right? If
Yeah.
suppose Amazon or Flipkart is creating a website in India, they are creating that website which should be available to the user in Bombay or tier one cities, which should
Yeah.
be available to the people in Ladakh also, which
Correct.
are in where the network is not so strong. So
Exactly.
they are thinking so vast in such a perspective, in such a domain,
Yeah.
and then building stuff. So that's how
Exactly.
vast the web is right now. So you think like that, you started, you get good at JavaScript, and
Exactly.
then explore things slowly and slowly. I mean,
Exactly.
it's not a race. Like you won't end up in your 20s that 20 is your end. It's just
Exactly.
getting started. You are just getting started. It's a 40 years journey in your career.
Exactly. Yes, yes. I just second with you, whatever you said. Like people, at least the most backend developers I interact has an opinion just HTML and CSS web. Now, recently I made one YouTube system design video where I was talking about live commenting. How live commenting works when thousands or lakhs of comments gather in about a half an hour or 30-35 minutes. It's extremely complicated to solve. It is not just the styling or HTML and CSS. You need to be really good programmer to achieve that. So like you mentioned, have a strong fundamental knowledge on JavaScript which will act as a foundation for your career. Correct? Yes. Next thing, you already touched based on this, but I want a little more thoughts on your own saying. So many material right now available. It is not just for the front end, for all the other streams for that matter, where the courses are available for free on YouTube and many other social media, where the content is available for free. Whereas there are many other paid courses where people are pushing hard for you to join. It's not like you want to join, but people are pushing very hard on you. They'll say you have to pay less, we'll convert it to EMI, etc. Where they're I mean, they want people to join there. So what is your take, Prashant, whether to go with a free education that is freely available or go with a paid and structured courses?
For that, right, it's quite straightforward. See, if we are capable of self-learning,
Yeah,
if you are disciplined, if you are, consistent, you think that I can learn myself, then you should go for the free resources.
got it.
If you are from a non-tech background, if you are, you don't have any about idea about the tech, but you are willing to go into the tech, then it's better to go with the offline and the
Got
paid
it.
courses, as they will groom you according to the corporate, the tech, the IT, and then they will give you the right path. They will monitor you properly. They will help you with the
Exactly.
interviews, all the basics. So
Yes,
that's how you should do it. And
definitely.
also, yeah, definitely, if you're, so go for the courses that where you can do the what we say, the salary share or the payment share. So after completing the course, when you
Exactly.
get the job, then you pay from your salary. So that's a better chance for you to get a job through them.
Exactly, Prashant. So what you say is totally makes sense because there is no one rule that applies for all. Correct? Like you said, self-learning is not possible for everyone because there will not be there. Sometimes there will be the first generation who has finished their engineering or BSc. There won't be anyone to guide them, or they might have studied in some colleges where their seniors are also not so in a high position. Such cases, good to go with a paid courses or where somebody can guide you who are already in the industry, but you already know a lot of things how the system works, industry works, then the self-learning would be better. Correct. So now another very common question, Prashant, that I often get is now somebody freshers, just a pre-final year or they're just starting their career, 6 months experience
Mhm.
on the framework, like whether to go with the Angular, React, Vue. There are many frameworks like that. Correct. So what is your take, Prashant? Which framework is good, considering from a career point of view, not a job point of view?
See, all the frameworks are great. There is no comparison. Only a rookie developer does the comparison, right?
Yes.
There is no comparison between the frameworks. All are catered for a use case.
Correct.
So there was few things that jQuery could not solve.
Exactly.
That's how Angular React was born, right?
Correct.
There were few things that React was bad at, so Vue was born.
Exactly.
So then there was few things that Vue and React was bad at, which is the virtual DOM. So the
Exactly.
Svelte was born. So
Exactly.
that's how things are, right? If there is any caveat, if there is any cons in certain frameworks, people look for that opportunity, grab that, improve it, and launch a new framework.
Exactly.
Now, there is no particular framework, but see, the framework comes from the community. The
Correct.
community support matters a lot. So,
Exactly.
if you are a fresher, if you are looking for a job in the IT industry, so the best thing is choose the framework that is widely adopted by the community and
Wonderful.
it is widely popular so that you will have a greater chance of getting the job, which is in the current scope is the React.
Got
So
it.
that's how the thing is.
Got it. If you're a job specific, then probably you can learn React because there are many openings. But like again, it all goes is be a stronger JavaScript. So no matter what
Hmm.
framework comes in future, you'll be able to adapt to it. Correct. So
Yeah.
yeah, next question is quite specific to you, Prashant. Like as you also introduced, you work in RazorPay right now. But whenever you're
Hmm.
preparing for RazorPay, probably you might have prepared for other companies also. So what is your
Yes.
typical interview preparation strategy, Prashant? Let's say you decide now this is the time I'll change a job. How you start preparing yourself? I'm extremely sorry to disturb you in middle. We are going to continue our discussion with Prashant and lot more interesting aspects will be discussed. Okay, and going forward. But in case if you like the video, please like the video and add a comment whatever you felt so far before watching further. The only reason is it takes extreme effort to get somebody like Prashant on the chat and share the knowledge to you all. And also by liking and commenting and subscribing to my channel, pressing the bell icon, I'll be able to reach my goal of helping candidate to clear the interview as early as possible. So I please request, please, if you're not subscribed to my channel, subscribe and press the bell icon, like and comment about the video before watching further.
So, see, when I was looking for the job, right, for the resume, I interviewed 6 months back for a company. So, I could name it, but let's
No
not.
worries.
So,
Yes,
I interviewed for it, and after the interviews, right, I realized that I'm nowhere standing in the league. So,
got it.
suppose if I have to compete with someone who's passing from IIT, who has done very well in a product-based organization, and now they are looking for a change. And then there's me who has come from a BSc background. I'm from a service-based company, and I have to go to resume. So I have to compete with them. So I have to prepare really well. So after the first interview, I realized where I'm lacking. So from there, I started to learn things. I designed a 6 months roadmap for myself, and
Wonderful.
I stick with that. The first thing I did was I got very good at the core JavaScript. So I read Eloquent JavaScript first. After that, I built JavaScript 30 to solve all the 30. I created 30 projects in vanilla JavaScript.
Wonderful.
After that, I created 30 projects in React.
Wonderful.
Then I did the comparison. Where was React better? Why we use React? Where was vanilla JavaScript lagging? Where vanilla JavaScript was good? So all those comparison when I had in my mind, it was easy for me to solve, give answer for the system design questions
Wonderful. Yes.
like why I'm using this, why this particular framework, all those things. And then there was a book, so which I highly recommend to everyone, which is the Professional JavaScript for Web Developers.
Okay.
This book teaches you the end-to-end working of JavaScript. So it's in so detail, like it teaches. It's mentioned in the book that the garbage collection works
Yeah.
differently in the Mozilla JavaScript engine and in the V8 engine. So it's in so detail. So that book really helped me a lot to understand the language at the core. And apart from that, I did lots of problem solving on different, not the DSA related, but the core JavaScript related. So I did lots of code was kata, which helped me to develop. And also the first interview which I had failed in, which I had given. So I also realized like what types of questions are being asked currently in the product based organization. So
Got
that helped me to prepare better.
great question. See, very rarely we see some strategize like you, where they definitely everyone realize after one interview we where we stand in the market, but very few will prepare a roadmap like you. Why I'm saying this specifically is people whoever feel like they are not getting into particular company, etc. So there is a lot of hard work that goes in. Maybe very few get in by lucky or some reference, but most people will put in a lot of hard work to get in there wherever they are. Correct. So Prashant, the book that you mentioned, is it like freely available or it's a paid book?
No, it's a paid book. I think the third edition is freely available. I'm not sure, but it's
Sure.
available on Orele.
Okay,
So yeah,
sure.
it's a
I'll try
paid
to
book.
link. At least for audience, I'll link that in the description, whether paid or free, wherever whatever it is the source, so that they can also read it. Okay.
Sure.
Uh, yes, sure. So now this was been your preparation strategy, Prashant, for whenever you are appearing. Now let us talk a little bit about the RazorPay as you're working there. What was the interview
Mhm.
rounds like, and what was the mode that you applied? Did you apply at RazorPay or they called you? How was it the process?
See, it was very hard for me to get my resume shortlisted, right? Because I did not had those keywords mentioned in my resume. I'm not from
So only I'm used.
big, big college. I don't hold that degree. I
Yes.
don't have that experience. So I have read one book regarding the resume, which has really helped me a lot. I don't remember the name. I
Yeah.
think it's one-on-one Google resume, which has mentioned like how you should create your resume. So after reading that, I've created different versions of my resume.
Great.
Like if I'm applying for backend role, I've created a new version of resume for that. For full stack different, for the front end different. And I've particularly mentioned the keywords that helps me to bypass the ATS, which is the application tracking system.
Hmm.
So that was my first strategy. After that, the interview rounds at RazorPay was very straightforward. The first was for JavaScript, second was machine coding, then third was system design, and after that the cultural fit.
Got it.
And RazorPay, I think someone has approached me for the RazorPay interview. I
Okay.
had not applied over there, but before that, I have interviewed for multiple organizations. So I interviewed for Amazon Germany. I had interviewed
Yeah,
for,
I've read.
I think Cure.feed, all those big product-based companies.
Yes, yes. In fact, I have read that Amazon's experience of you at Germany. I fed up of reading how many rounds that happened 3A, 3B, 2A. Correct, so
See,
many.
the Amazon asked the leadership questions, and that
Yeah.
was very, very tiring.
Yes. For those of you who have not read that blog, I'll be linking that in the description. You also can go and check. Okay. Yes. So yeah, Prashant, almost we are coming to close to the end. So I'll just highlight a little more about the work and other things. So how do you feel? Because Razorpay is something aspiration company for a lot. Because as far I might be wrong, as far I know, it's India's biggest payment gateway, and even sites like IRCTC, Swiggy rely on Razorpay. I mean, you don't have to tell that. This is whatever I have read. Okay. So many transactions might happen in a second. Correct. It is something a dream of every developer to work for such organizations. So how do you feel, Prashant, working for that kind of an organization?
I feel really privileged. See, Recipe is it's a kind of organization, right? That really brings out the engineering out of it. So
Exactly.
it's a organization that works as a scale. I don't work on the core product of the Recipe. I work in a different team.
Got
But
it.
when I started, right, we get started on the project in very less time. We did multiple POCs. We helped to onboard banks. All those
Yeah.
things were happening. And such an organization, right? My manager approached me like, if you like to do the backend development, you are
Mm.
open to that. So I am also doing the Spring Boot currently in the resume. So it's really grateful of them that they have given the opportunity. They have
Great.
given the options to us that if you
Exactly.
want to explore a different front, right, you are open to do that. So
Exactly.
that's how the resume is. It works really well.
Wonderful. Yes. Yes. So this is what previously I was talking to developer. This only we're discussing fine, whatever the one or whoever is just starting the career, they think it is about money, the service, product, etc. Finally, it's a good atmosphere and how many people you are able to impact. That is what true engineering is. Correct. Definitely money
Yes.
is something catalyst, with everybody needs it, but that is not something that should inspire you to work. Inspiration should come from your values, like you're building something great, etc. Correct. It's great to know that, Prashant.
It's for me. See, it's all about ambition and work. So great
Exactly.
works is what gets me going. Money keeps me living. So
Exactly.
that's how I decide things.
Definitely, definitely. So Prashant, since you talked a little bit about the Java, you did little work on the Java Spring
Hmm.
Hibernate as well. So this one of the common question that I get, and I have particular viewpoint. So where so much push again to become full stack developer now. Okay, definitely this trend was not so common in past few years, and now it is becoming very very trending. At least experience level, I do get to a level. Even freshers are becoming too much obsessed to becoming full stack developer. What is your take, Prashant, on one stack, front end or back end, or the full stack?
See, the term itself is very vague, very
Yeah,
subjective, right? See, when you
exactly.
say full stack, what do you mean by full stack? If
Exactly.
he's able to do the front end or back end development. So if you're talking about front end of what? Web,
Exactly.
mobile, desktop. Back
Exactly.
end of what, right?
Yes.
So if he's able to do the deployment or not, if he's able to
Exactly.
handle the Kubernetes stuff, it's a very subjective term and
Ex-
it's very badly presented in the market.
True.
There is no role as a full stack developer in the IT industry. There is only one role, and that is software engineering.
Correct.
And a software engineer is someone who uses language, framework as a tool to solve problems.
Exactly.
That's what I think personally. So that's how I keep moving.
Yeah.
If you ask me to solve a problem, right, and we'll decide the tool to solve that problem. So if
Correct.
there is something I have to write an API about, I'll
Mm.
choose a framework, let's say Spring Boot, I'll create a microservice in that. I'll expose that microservice, it will be consumed by the front end. So
Correct.
that's how we think. There is a problem, we use a tool to solve it. That's all.
Exactly. Exactly. So you're kind of, if somebody has a requirement to become whether one stack, two stack, whatever. Let's say even they got an opportunity to learn DevOps. It is there whenever there is an opportunity. And if you are interested to explore, please go ahead and explore. But not because somebody forces you to become an engineer.
No, no. So it's always your preference. Don't go because it's hot topic in the market. Go
Yeah.
because you are lacking it. Okay. So that way you will be more interested in learning things and you will do much better over
Correct. Because you have a requirement and you learn it. Now
there.
what's happening? The reverse. You're learning it and you're looking for a requirement. That's not the right way. Correct? Yes, Prashant.
Yeah, that's not. It's bad way.
Exactly. So Prashant, let us talk a little more about the your website and the brand new book that you are launching, because that is one of the posts that inspired me a lot, because there are very few books which are kind of written for the interview preparation of the front end developers. You can talk about both Prashant. I think my audience will be really loud to hear and it will benefit them.
Back in 2019, right, when the COVID lockdown started, I was really kind of bored. So I decided to create a blog.
Yeah.
Not a blog because the video recording was very hard for me and
Exactly.
everyone was at home during the lockdown. So I
Yes.
started with the blog where I can, write about things, I can document them and then share them. And
Correct.
also, if required, I can look back to them for solutions.
Correct.
So there was very less resource regarding the front
Definitely.
end, the current trend that was happening in the market, interview questions, DSA, all those things. So that's how I started the blog. I consistently write there for last 3 years, 4 years. I'm
Yeah.
still writing over there. And in the past 4 years, through the web, right, I have gathered lots of different questions, the interview
Exactly.
questions,
Yeah.
questions that are really being asked in the interviews, not the dry run or the brain teaser types like,
Exactly.
zero point 0.1 plus zero point 0.2, why it is 003. So
Exactly.
those types of questions, it's a real interview questions.
Yes.
So I have written around 70 questions, 220, 230 pages I have written till now
Yes.
in the
Yeah.
book.
Yeah.
So that's how I'm planning to document that in the form of a book and then ship that. Also, there is very few research, as you mentioned, right? Very few research for the front end in the
Mm.
market. There are
Exactly.
many for the back end, system
Yeah.
design, everything. So I
Exactly.
thought it's better that I document and it will really help someone to crack the interview.
Correct. Correct. So what is the means, Prashant, when you're planning to launch? Is it like a hard copy, soft copy? Anything you decided as such, Prashant?
No, so it won't be a hard copy because for the hard copy I have to find a
Got
publisher,
it.
publish it, distribute it. So it will definitely be a soft copy, and I'm trying to launch that in the first week of December.
Got
So
it.
I'm working really hard for that.
Got it. So if my audience, if they want to get the access to the book, so it's best way to get is from your website.
Uh,
Correct?
yeah, so I'll post the link over there. So once it will launch, you can add that in the blog. Yeah, they will have access to that.
Great, Prashant. So good, because like I mentioned, very few are taking this kind of initiative, and writing a book comes with immense work. Because I also write on Medium from one and a half year I'm writing. So it is easy to make a 10-minute video. If you are like if you are not camera shy, it's easy to make a video because it's more like an acting. As I always say, you can prepare, come,
Yes,
and you can keep some references here and there, and you can talk. But extremely difficult to write because you have to make them understand by what by reading it. So when they
yes,
you will have the freedom of expression, talk, all the things whenever we are making a video, but book is quite difficult to get it explained. So you're doing great job, Prashant, that you're I mean it
thank you,
might
Vasan.
inspire others, correct? So
Yeah,
like whatever I see, the at least last 2 to 3 years back, there was not so much push for the front end, like at least for the interview
Mhm.
preparation and all those things. It was just considered a subset overall. But now there is a lot of demand, like people the even because a lot of people are getting placed into big firms, and whenever you are in a privilege, you should make sure you give back to the community, so that everyone get to know
Definitely.
and clear well, correct? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Prashant. So yeah, we are pretty much at the end, Prashant. So it was great talking to you. But I have one last question, which I typically ask for everyone on my interview. So you know, like currently the market is a little downtrending. A lot of people
Mhm,
are being
mhm,
laid off, and or even people who are in the company, they're not getting good projects. Okay, everyone
mhm.
process through this phase, and you are one of the right person to answer because you have seen the struggles before joining the this organization. So what is your advice, Prashant, whenever people are feeling low in such kind of situations? What should be their mindset and how to face such situations?
See, I'm not an expert, but I can tell you one thing. It's see, there was a time when there was a quote like survival of the fittest.
Yes,
Right now, it's the survival of the skilled.
yes,
So the more skilled you are, there's a better chance for you to survive in the corporate.
yes,
So if you have time, right? If you are not on a good project, if you
yes,
are on a bench, if you have some time, utilize that time to learn something new. Get yourself upskilled and get yourself up to ready to the new skill to the new technologies that is being asked in the corporate world so that you can get the job, you can have your job running if you have one,
yes.
otherwise you can get a job.
Got it. So don't think like whether you're in bench or worst case you are fired. Don't rush to join something new. Practice well and utilize this time basically to upskill yourself so that you can land in good. That's what you are referring. Correct?
Yeah, it's hard to, it's easy to say than to be done because when you are on a job you are fired, that's a very bad feeling. But
Exactly.
I would still recommend, it's not, even if you are
Tough one.
getting fired, if you are getting a job in that domain, that's perfectly fine. If you are struggling, then yeah, definitely upskill yourself.
Got it. Sure, Prashant. So it was nice conversation with you, Prashant. We're already close to 35 minutes now. And like I mentioned, very rarely we get an opportunity to talk to someone who write very actively on LinkedIn and the interview preparation. Like I am one such kind, and I've seen very few actually actively doing that on LinkedIn. Some start and they expect some immediate return and they'll stop. And especially you writing a blog for such a long time requires a lot of perseverance. Everybody cannot do. There are many with the knowledge, but everyone cannot share that so consistently. So I purely appreciate your effort, Prashant, and thank you so much for coming and talking, sharing your knowledge.
Thank you, Vasan, for having me.
Okay, nice talking to you. It was a great session and talking to Prashant, and I'm very excited to read his book, which will be published in the December. And I'm one of the vivid reader. I often read his blogs and his LinkedIn post. Very frequently he writes, and I have personally got a lot of benefit by following him on the LinkedIn. And I would be linking his LinkedIn profile somewhere on the description. Please go ahead and follow him, read his articles, and read his book that is upcoming in the December. I will guarantee definitely that will help you to clear your interview. And in case if you're not already subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to Uncommon Geeks because there are a lot more interesting personalities coming in the channel who share their thoughts regarding the interview preparation and overall front end persona. So subscribe to my channel, and if you not press the bell icon, please press the bell icon and like the video if you're liking it, and comment whatever you felt so far. And do not forget to share the video with your friends because there is a lot of things that is spoken about the interview that might help a lot of candidates who are out there. So please share the video too with your friends, and thank you so much for watching. Catch you in the next video.